Welcome back to the channel. It's me, Adam, and you are watching Unlimited Options Investing. And in this video, I want to talk about quickly the Airbnb earnings and their strong guidance. We'll give a quick overlook and summary synopsis of what happened. So, Airbnb beat Wall Street estimates on earnings and revenue in its fourth quarter. The company reported 73.4 million nights and experiences booked in the fourth quarter. Down nearly 8% from the prior quarter and missing estimates. Airbnb is expecting its first 2022 nights and experiences booked to significantly exceed Q1 2019 levels. And that's huge because obviously we know 2019 is before the entirety of the pandemic. Hospitality and experience sector as a whole, whether it's airlines, Vegas, hotels, anything really, has been absolutely flipped upside down over the last couple of years, as we all know very, very well. So Airbnb beat Wall Street estimates on earnings and revenue in its fourth quarter. As the travel company continued to rebound from the pandemic, the company's stock was up about 4% after hours yesterday. So here are the key numbers. Earnings per share, 8 cents versus the expected 3 cents. And revenue at $1.53 billion versus the expected 1.46. So a beat on the top and the bottom line. And as we previously said, guidance being super important, especially during this time with the macroeconomic look and everything that's been going on and all the fear that's been surrounding the markets and everyone that's been freaking out. Airbnb expects first quarter 2022 nights and experiences booked to significantly exceed those Q1 2019 levels. It estimates revenue to fall between $1.41 billion and $1.48 billion in the first quarter of 2022, topping analyst estimates of $1.24 billion. The company reported 73.4 million nights and experiences booked in the fourth quarter, down nearly 8% from the prior quarter and missing estimates. Analysts were expecting 74.96 million nights and experiences for the quarter. Still, the figure is up 59% year over year when the pandemic weighed heavily on the travel industry. Airbnb said in its fourth quarter letter to shareholders that it has rebounded quickly from the impacts of the pandemic. The company said the negative effects of Omicron on bookings and cancellations were lower than it experienced with the Delta variant. Gross nights booked in December were up more than 40% compared to 2020, the company said. Despite the continued near-term uncertainties, we see the evidence of strong pent-up demand. As of the end of January 2022, we had over 25% more nights booked for the summer travel season than at this time in 2019, the company wrote. Revenue for the fourth quarter came in at $1.5 billion, up 78% year over year. Airbnb reported $55 million in net income, its first quarter for profit. It's a decrease from the prior quarter, but a huge improvement from the $3.89 billion net loss it posted in quarter 4 of 2020. Gross booking value, which Airbnb uses to track host earnings, service fees, cleaning fees, and taxes, totaled $11.3 billion in the fourth quarter, slightly over Wall Street estimates of $11.08 billion, and average daily rates rose 20% from a year ago to $154 in the fourth quarter. Airbnb has spent much of its time focusing on a sort of travel revolution as remote work becomes a more prominent option for many across the US. As a result, Airbnb said average trip length during the past 2 years increased by about 15%, with stays of more than about 7 days now representing nearly half of all gross nights booked. Meantime, long-term stays of 28 nights or more continue to be its fastest growing category by trip length. Those extended stays accounted for 22% of gross nights booked in the fourth quarter, up 16% from quarter 4 of 2019. Alright, and taking a look at the candlesticks, I had this previous blue horizontal line, a psychological resistance at about $187, and coincidentally, we're right at that level right now, which makes sense because this was also a level of resistance back in early December of 2021. And I remember even before that, in November of 2021, we had previous earnings, which were also very good. We saw the stock price jump up from about $180 all the way up to a peak of about $211, and then subsequently, again, a very volatile stock falling to lows of, let's say, $135. So the fact right now that we're seeing volatility toward the upside isn't surprising. Am I convinced the stock is going to stay up above $170, $180? Not at all. Would I be surprised if we go back to these moving averages? I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. Overall, though, from looking at this chart, you can't make that many inferences. You can't make that many judgments as to where you think the price is going tomorrow. The volatility is kind of just all over the place, that it doesn't trade too technically. My mantra when it comes to this stock is I am a big believer in Airbnb. I love this company. The business model is super simple. You can explain it to a 5-year-old. And I believe that's actually one of the famous Peter Lynch's big quotes, is that if you're investing in something and you can't explain it to a child, then you shouldn't have your money invested in it because you don't know what it does. So specifically for Airbnb, can I see this being a much, much, much higher value stock in a few years from now? Absolutely. It's innovative. It has the brand power. It has a moat. But at the same time, we see the volatility. Can this one go below 150 again? Absolutely. Can we test 100 one day? Why not? Can this one blast past 200 and never see these levels again? For sure. Anybody's guess. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of Airbnb in the short and the long term? As always, smash that like button, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video, which is also going to come out today, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's going to be about covered calls that I sold and some mistakes that I made, and another covered call that I'm planning to sell today before an earnings call, specifically in the video. I'll see you in that next video.